Su Yuan looked thoughtfully at Cang Xiang, who was about to collapse from exhaustion, and suddenly spoke up. Lend me your sword. Wuji Jina, eat me and behead the giant beast. Cang Xiang said, what? This Pokémon trainer is too strong. Referring to physics. Book Friend Group. 580492115, same person tags. Pokémon, 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 keywords of the novel. This Pokémon trainer's excessive lack of pop-ups, this Pokémon trainer's excessive TXT complete collection download, this Pokémon trainer's excessive latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. The Achievements of Braves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. The Achievements of Braves. Su Yuan is dead. There were no accidents, and his simple life had come to an end, even though it was only a short 20 years. Then, Su Yuan saw the goddess in the pitch black. The world needs you. The voice was ethereal and noble, and the goddess smiled and continued. Go and become the brave adults who save the world. Without waiting for Su Yuan to answer, the goddess's figure dissipated, and at the same time, a strong suction force came, causing Su Yuan to fall into a coma again 18 years later. The border of China, the capital of demons. Hello everyone, I am a router. Su Yuan sat in front of the computer, fiddling with the latest game console NS from NNT in her hand. Today, let's continue playing with the carriage and strive to score 13,000 points. Thank you for the big rocket gifted by, Are You Still Single Today, Routing Teacher. That's right, Su Yuan is a game anchor and also a game circle up on Bilibili. As for the term, router, it's his story before he became a big anchor. That time, he was connecting the new NS host to the network, and since he himself was a name invalid, his network name was called Luyo. The original meaning was router, but the audience half-jokingly said, Anchor, are you called router? Although Su Yuan had already explained to the audience very seriously, the meme of routing could not be removed, and the audience in the live broadcast room did not call him his original ID, one-by-one routing. Anyway, this nickname can't be taken off, so Su Yuan just changed her ID to a router. The Oolong incident this time resulted in many passers-by who came to watch the live broadcast room in admiration. With Su Yuan's outstanding game understanding and unique commentary style, this time in the world, he has actually gained a lot of fans, which can be considered a small fire. And then it went uncontrollable. Thank you for the plane presented by, Did Mr. Lu Yu eat egg fried rice today? Feeling her nose, Su Yuan had already taken these strange IDs for granted and said, I've never cared about myself like you do. People who don't know are thinking that the audience in this live broadcast room are all distant relatives of Su Yuan, as they both take off and eat. Okay, let's get straight to the point. Su Yuan picked up the controller and shifted his attention to the game screen. The full name of the game he played today is Mario Racing 8DX. Although his fame is not yet urgent for this world's largest IP, his popularity still ranks steadily in the top 3. The score for this room is a bit low. A low score means that once Su Yuan achieves a poor ranking, he will be deducted much more points than under normal circumstances. Conversely, even if he achieves a good ranking, the increased points will be greatly discounted. But it's okay, now I'm the boss of this room. I'm not the one who made the first move. Su Yuan's confident voice was conveyed to every audience member through the live broadcast room, and as he looked at the already selected track, his mouth curved slightly. Peach Blossom Princess track. Isn't this a bonus map? If this doesn't make sense without taking the first place. Upon hearing these words, the audience in the live broadcast room burst into laughter. It's starting, the routing teacher has activated the feature Overconfidence. The routing teacher used the skill Drop the Harsh Words. I'll go. I just finished my meal, so I didn't explode. Su Yuan's gaming talent and level are very high, otherwise he wouldn't have driven his newly acquired carriage score to 12,900 in a short period of time. However, although his gaming skills are high, his luck is truly remarkable. How to say it, it's always almost boring. The live streaming effect, or in other words, the ability to cook, has always been explosive. Here we go. The opportunity is here. Yuan exclaimed excitedly. Generally speaking, the carriage only has 3 circles, and now the character he controls is in the front part of the 3rd circle. Rocket plus invincible star, isn't I the first one? As soon as the words fell, Yuan successfully activated his exclusive feature, Super Unlucky. Oh my! Who set off the lightning? The sky was dark, and a lightning bolt fell, directly driving Yuan insane. My rocket! My invincible star! The target hit by lightning not only becomes smaller, slows down, and is crushed by other players, but also has the effect of knocking down the target item. I really exploded today. I won't open it anymore. Then, Yuan secretly glanced at her ranking. 9th place. Yuan picked up the handle again and said, if you can't say it, you still have to open it. At least the 9th place is also a stop loss. Suddenly, the barrage burst into laughter and joy. This wave, I'll give you a perfect score if you speak your mind. The old stop loss is strange. Routing. If you understand, you will understand. This is called program effect, not because my face is black. After some twists and turns, Yuan's ranking reached 5th place, and the finish line was right in front of her. 5th, 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 5th. If there were no accidents, this 5th place would be his, and it's not unacceptable for the 5th place to be considered a stop loss. If you can add 1 point, that's also a point. As long as this one is not negative, it is a success. Boom. Yuan's heart was still lingering when a red turtle shell-shaped object suddenly hit him in front of him, colliding with the character he controlled. Oh, I'll go. You're already at the finish line and throwing props back. That's just too much quality, isn't it? Finally, Yuan's ranking remained at 12th place. I'll just eat 3 big bowls. I am the boss of this room. I am already considering the next bowl. The barrage in the live broadcast room flashed by quickly, and several gift-giving messages popped up at the same time. Thank you for giving the big rocket as a gift. I finished last. The rocket was struck by lightning. Thank you for the big rocket gifted by. I came first in the end, but it was bragging. Thank you for the super rocket gifted by. Twisted Time and Space Restoration. Thank you for the plane gifted by. When will the routing teacher play Pokemon? After thanking the last gift message, Yuan replied, when we reach 13,000 points today, I will share with you a cute team. It's over. I'm afraid I won't be able to see the Pokémon battle in the next few days. My girlfriend and I are still waiting for the teacher's Pokémon video to have dinner. Cute and cute team. It's broken. I'm afraid the routing teacher will play dirty again. Saying, cute is actually not cute either. The same sentence goes, be careful and cute. Yuan scratched his face as he watched the barrage in the live broadcast room. Although each of these people was able to make a living, the purity of his fans was still very high, and he quite liked this feeling. To be honest, his main game during his live broadcast was still Pokemon, and 80% of his fans came for Pokemon. The carriage was just a simple game he wanted to play. However, Yuan's live broadcast effect was really explosive, to the extent that his popularity did not decrease but instead increased when he broadcasted the carriage, and he firmly took the top spot in the live broadcast. By the way, the partition hanging in his live broadcast room is the Pokémon partition. The first place in the Pokémon zone, but not playing Pokémon. This is very impressive. The feature, Never Give Up, is activated. Brother Meng, I often say that when I was able to use a lone team to rank 5th in the world, today's carriage score of 13,000 points is not a problem. That's right, as a brave adult appointed by the goddess, Yuan has achieved remarkable things in these 18 years. I'm afraid it's only in the game, Pokémon Battle, that I ranked 5th in the world and became a streamer and up host with nearly 1 million views. Newcomers seeking new books, collecting, recommending, and investing. End of this chapter. Chapter 2, World Number 5 is not yet my full strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, World Number 5 is not yet my full strength. Here I'll teach you a little trick. A 100% success rate for shortcuts. Oh my! How could I fall off? If you still throw banana peels, I'll hit you directly, green turtle. I exploded. How did this green turtle bounce back and hit itself? Isn't that stupid? The house leaks and it rains all night. I'm already considering the next one. The 6th right is like a stop-loss. After 3 hours of horseback riding, Yuan's score finally reached 13,000 points. Thank you for the plane gifted by, I ranked 6th, greedy and unlucky. Thank you, no thanks, thank you for giving away the plane. Yuan happily read out the gift information, and after a moment of activity, her fingers felt a bit sore, skillfully switching to the game. There's still some time left, so I'll show you a few Pokémon battles. Pokémon Battle, although it may seem like an ordinary, cute pet development game, has extraordinary significance in this world. In this world, Pokémon exist. In the past, Yuan first attracted a small fan base with the meme of routing. Later, in an official 64 doubles rules competition held by Pokémon, he successfully ranked 5th in the world. The 64 doubles rule is one of the most commonly used official competition rules. According to the opposing lineup, contestants must select 4 Pokémon from among their own 6 Pokémon to participate in the battle. This rule is quite a test of the player's understanding of the Pokémon lineup. If there is a mistake in the selection of the first 2 Pokémon, they may be directly defeated 4.0 by their opponents. However, this 64 doubles rule is Yuan's best combat mode. After the competition, Yuan's fan base grew and entered the most terrifying explosive period. 5th in the world, it is reasonable not to have such a huge fan base. But Yuan is different. His extremely unlucky luck met the champion of Pokémon and one of the 4 Heavenly Kings in the round of 32 and 16, respectively. And even eliminated them. If it weren't for Yuan's 4 consecutive water cannon misses sent by Laplace in the doubles match, which resulted in a disappointing defeat in the semi-finals, perhaps he could have really won the championship in Pokémon. With his powerful strength and novel tactics, he attracted the attention of a group of Pokémon fans at the time, and due to his terrifying live streaming effect, he became an iron fan. What I'm demonstrating to you today is the Geely Egg team. Yuan said, and then dragged the lucky egg into the team. I'll go, that's really cute. Routing Bible. How could there be such a sleazy and tedious Pokémon like Lucky Egg? Oh, it's mine, that's really cute. Routing Teacher. I never use lucky eggs. Double standard maze routing. Yuan chuckled and said that the use of lucky eggs is not uncommon among vocational trainers, and if targeted, it is not impossible. However, that is only limited to high-end vocational trainers. A typical Pokémon trainer may feel nauseous when they see this Pokémon. The title of Pink Demon is well deserved. Yuan is the same. He once met the Geely Egg team in the top 100 divisions of the Master Ball world. Coincidentally, his team at the time did not pose a significant threat to Geely Egg. After experiencing several rounds of skill miss, there is now the first half of the previous Bible. Root. How could there be such a sleazy and tedious Pokémon like Lucky Egg? But if it's on my own side. That's really cute. The development of this world is similar to Yuan's previous life. Apart from the existence of Pokémon. After a long time, from the initial hostility to the current peaceful coexistence, it can be said that in today's world, humans can no longer do without the company of Pokémon. And there are countless games, novels, comics, as well as film and television anime derived from Pokémon. Among them, Pokémon Battle, developed by Japanese Nintendo, is the most representative, with highly realistic combat AI. Many professional trainers also try to build their own new lineup in the game when they have some free time. Its popularity is already world-class. Let's move on. My final Earth throw. In the picture, the cute and adorable figure of Geely Egg quickly rushed towards the opponent's Laplace. The pink body erupted with incredible strength, throwing the opponent's Laplace fiercely into the air and then falling to the ground. Earth throw. Deals fixed damage equal to the user's level. This move cannot deal damage to Pokémon that have no effect on attributes, but ignores other attributes that are mutually exclusive and attribute consistent bonuses. The fixed damage, without any suspense, took away Laplace's stamina like a candle in the wind. The other party watched as Geely Egg shook and smiled happily, biting his teeth and flexibly controlling the handle with both hands. How could there be such a lewd and tedious Pokémon? I vomited. Seeing this scene, many water enthusiasts in the live broadcast room empathized with it. I spat out all the food I saw. Those who play Lucky Eggs have dirty hearts. Are you happy, such a disgusting routing teacher? Yuan responded, it's quite joyful. Laplace. I'm not clean anymore. I shouldn't have missed 4 water cannons in the first place. Woo, I won't be an insider anymore. Thank you for the big rocket gifted by, for Mrs. Laplace. As soon as she saw this ID, 3 black lines fell on Yuan's head. If the random number in that battle was better, I wouldn't be a quadruple miss, she said. The fans in the live broadcast room were delighted to hear it again. IDs like, 3 in a row protection for leftover food from Kapu Fin, Gyoka being pulled to the river to grill, and, wave your fingers to surf and seal yourself, have emerged one after another. The inside and outside of the live broadcast room are filled with a joyful atmosphere. The proper scenes in this scene are all black history. The triple protection of Kapu's fins can be said to be due to bad luck, as the favorable timing, location, and people are not with me. Gyoka was killed by the coal turtle, which can also be said to be due to some luck issues today. However, in the finger-waving competition, Gung Gui and Horror Thinking Pot controlled by Yuan surprisingly simultaneously mastered the skill of surfing. Finger-waving. Randomly select a move from all moves and use it. Being able to randomly draw from nearly 800 skills within one turn is already considered a low-probability event. What's even more outrageous is that the surfing skills used by Yuan's Gung Gui and Horror Sihu successfully triggered the characteristics of these 2 Pokémon. Cursed bodies. By attacking each other. Cursed body. When a Pokémon with this feature is attacked, there is a 30% chance to put the target into a fixed state. Pokémon in a fixed state cannot use the same skill continuously. In the rules of the finger-waving competition, only one finger-waving skill can be used by all Pokémon sent on the field. That is to say, after the cursed body double surfed and sealed myself, all Yuan could do was wait for death. A fan friend helped the router calculate the probability of cursed body double surfing sealing myself, and the result was an astonishing 1 in 4 million. It is already infinitely close to an impossible event, but the result is actually happening here in the routing. This event is also the most explosive live streaming effect for Yuan in so long. P.S. The above event is adapted from facts, and the original video is, let's start the next round. Deciding to skip this topic and not discuss it, Yuan clicked on battle matching. He played doubles matches, still following the regular 64 rule. Glancing at the opponent's lineup, Yuan let out a light laugh and secretly replaced the originally planned Lucky Egg. It's reasonable that the Lucky Egg team doesn't play Lucky Egg. A reasonable float across the full screen. Yuan remained calm and analyzed with the water friends in the live broadcast room, but in the end, he couldn't help but say another word. The formula for victory has been written. For the analysis and control of the situation, routing has a very high level. This is widely recognized. Even the foodies in the live broadcast room, no matter how much they like to watch the router for their meals, cannot deny this. Just looking at the opponent's team lineup, the router can first read the opponent's overall strategy for this game. First of all, as a tactic for predicting the opponent's command, once the prediction is successful, there will be extremely high profits. And reading first is not just about predicting command, higher level players can also predict the starting Pokémon, and even the battle strategy. Once the idea is seen through, it also means that the risk of failure increases. As Yuan predicted, every move of the other party was under his control, and a large number of barrage comments such as 666 and Root Teacher NB floated in the live broadcast room. However, Yuan's smile did not last long. I'll go. Rock Avalanche and Double Fear. Yuan slapped her right hand on her thigh, looking incredulous. Did you hit the nail on the head? I'll crash straight into the sky. Lost. Lost. Ha ha ha, here's the meal. I can still eat 30 more bowls. Thank you, Teacher Router, for treating my anorexia. I've collected all the papers and I'm still writing equations. Thank you for the super rocket gifted by, the classic equation can't write a solution. After thanking him weakly, Yuan staged a light-speed broadcast. He felt tired. Thank you, Lu Wokeo. Why did it end up being broadcasted? I haven't finished my meal yet, so I'll explode too. Newcomers seeking recommendations, collections, investments, and book reviews. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Yuan. Wow. After coming out of the bathroom and returning to the room, Yuan threw herself on the bed and stretched out, then suddenly remembered the wet hair that had just been washed, and quickly got up from the bed. Goo 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 goo. Yuan was hungry, and since his popularity grew, his daily routine began to become irregular. He had a live broadcast at 5:30 p.m., and during the process, he didn't feel anything. Now that he had relaxed, he immediately felt hungry. What's good to eat today? Yuan opened her phone and clicked on an app called Fat Big Special Delivery, which was probably like Matewan in her past life. After all, Quilom was also covered in yellow. That's right, the fast dragon they raise is specifically trained to deliver takeout. Although, most people who deliver takeout usually compare sculptures. Stupid beast tail. After staring at the store for a long time, Yuan gave up and said, I seem to have eaten quite a lot lately. Let's switch to another one. There are no ordinary animals in this world, except for humans, there are only Pokémon. At first, Yuan was quite resistant to eating Pokémon, until he took a bite of grilled scallion duck. How fragrant! The taste of the outside and inside, combined with the crispy crust, is simply dipped in a little sauce, and every bite is the ultimate enjoyment. However, not all Pokémon are allowed to be consumed. Only Pokémon purchased from Pokémon farms specifically for consumption approved by the Alliance after applying to the Alliance can be legally consumed. Each edible Pokémon has its own exclusive code, similar to a barcode. Both in restaurants and in the Pokémon Fresh Market, customers must be provided with this code for online reference. Braided sheep barbecue. Yuan had been constantly struggling with her thoughts in her heart, but in the end, she couldn't resist and placed an order. Eating barbecue at this time, I'm afraid I don't want to become a chubby guy. Yuan secretly thought to herself, but it was really delicious. Also, the complimentary rolls from this restaurant paired with lettuce or tomatoes tasted amazing. After placing the order, Yuan sat in front of the computer board, searching for videos on Bilibili to get through the difficult time of waiting for takeout. If evil were a magnificent and cruel movement, its end, I would write it myself. Suddenly, Su Yuan's phone rang. "What's wrong, Light?" When Su Yuan picked up the phone, he was the first to speak up. Through his contact list, he clearly knew who called. "It's all so late." What does "it's all so late" mean? The voice on the other end of the phone didn't sound very pleasant. "I said you didn't forget, did you? I'll be with you tomorrow morning." Puff, by saying this, Su Yuan remembered that she had indeed said similar things a week ago, but he didn't mind. "I thought you were joking, and your parents really trust you to come out alone." "I knew it, it seems I was right to call." With a tone of, as expected, he said, "I asked them for a long time, and finally managed to get them to agree. Besides, it seems that you don't have the right to say that about me, do you?" Su Yuan's mouth twitched slightly and retorted, "My situation is obviously different from yours, right?" "What's different?" "It's just that I'm going on a trip alone, while my uncle and aunt are leaving you at home and they're just going on their own trips." As soon as he talked about the situation at Su Yuan's home, Guang's tone became subtle. "But when it comes to speaking, uncle and aunt really trust you." "Indeed, I felt like an accident." No parents leave their children who are just about to enter high school at home and wander around the world on their own. Even though it has been almost 3 years since then, Su Yuan still doesn't know where to roast. They only pay Su Yuan's card every month, which makes Su Yuan feel like they haven't forgotten about themselves. As for Guang, he should be considered his childhood sweetheart, right? Although Su Yuan currently resides in Mordo, he and his parents lived in an area called Shineo until the summer vacation when he graduated from junior high school. Coincidentally, Guang's family is neighbors. By the way, Su Yuan, do you have your own Pokémon?" As the topic changed, his tone carried a faint excitement and he said, "I got my own Pokémon before graduating from high school." "Guess what Pokémon it is?" The next second, Su Yuan and Guang spoke in unison. "It's Bogerman." "It's Bogemon." "Hey, how did you know it was Bogerman?" Su Yuan sighed and said, "I don't know who used to follow behind me every day, wanting Bogerman to be my initial Pokémon." Who follows behind your butt every day?" Su Yuan can imagine what Guang looks like now. It should be very cute, right? Although he appears very outgoing and generous in front of others, he is still in front of himself. No. Su Yuan, what is your Pokémon? The ability to shift topics is still equally clumsy, but Su Yuan raised her head and looked at the neatly arranged and diverse Pokémon balls inside the bookshelf. She sighed helplessly and replied, "Unfortunately, I don't have my own Pokémon yet." I didn't expect Su Yuan's answer to be like this. He asked in a skeptical voice, "Why isn't there a Pokémon? I remember you really liked Pokémon, and..." In Guang's memory, Su Yuan not only loved Pokémon very much, but also had a fire-spotted Meow by his side, even though that Pokémon belonged to his father. However, in reality, Huaban Meow has always grown up with Su Yuan. Impossible, right? It's hard to understand. In high school, there was a chance to obtain the initial Pokémon. As long as someone recognized by Pokémon, they could become the trainer of that Pokémon. Even if you haven't been recognized by Pokémon before graduation, can that fire-spotted Meow still be adopted as your initial Pokémon? Unfortunately, the fire-spotted Meow has evolved into the blazing roaring tiger. According to the Alliance regulations, one cannot have their own Pokémon under the age of 16, and the initial Pokémon after the age of 16 can only be in their original form. Generally speaking, it is usually a newly born Pokémon. This is because novice trainers are unable to control and command high-level Pokémon well. A decade ago, there was an example of novice trainers being unable to command their own Pokémon, which became a large-scale disaster. The basis for judging the strength of a trainer is also based on the initial Pokémon. By judging the strength intensity of the trainer's initial Pokémon, the trainer's level of strength is evaluated, and what Pokémon can be mastered now. So, the initial Pokémon are crucial. If the fire-spotted Meow had not evolved, it could still become Su Yuan's initial Pokémon, but the problem is that it has already evolved. In the eyes of the Alliance, Su Yuan does not have the qualifications to become his trainer. Well, let's not talk about that. When will you arrive tomorrow? Do you need me to pick you up? What reason do you think I called you for? I'll arrive at the station around 9 o'clock tomorrow. Do pouted and said against his heart, it's up to you whether you come or not. I don't have to. I understand, just wait for me at the station tomorrow. Su Yuan said this, but before the corner of his mouth could rise, he heard the next sentence. After all, I also want to see Bogerman soon. Doodle doodle, the sound of communication ending came from Su Yuan's phone. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 4. Humanoid Group Pokémon Su Yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Humanoid Group Pokémon. Su Yuan. Su Yuan put her phone on the table with a helpless expression, and then looked into the bookshelf. There, various types of Pokémon balls are neatly arranged, from the most ordinary red and white Pokémon balls, Super Balls, high-end balls to various distinctive citrus balls, and Master Ball. This Master Ball, which claims to have a 100% capture rate, was a gift given to him by his parents during this year's Chinese New Year. If Su Yuan is willing, he can now have his first Pokémon. But he doesn't want to use it. It cannot be used either. Master Ball is not a brainwashing ball. Using this forced method is to subdue Pokémon. Even if it is truly captured, it may not necessarily make it obey its own commands. Looking away again, Su Yuan turned to the photo hanging on the wall. That was when the hot cat had just evolved into a blazing roaring tiger, and Su Yuan asked his mother to help take the picture. Looking at herself, who had just reached the chest of the blazing roaring tiger 2 years ago, Su Yuan couldn't help but smile. However, when it comes to the flame-roaring tiger, Su Yuan also has a headache. It's not about the flame-roaring tiger, but about herself. Due to years of constant interaction, Su Yuan didn't know what was going on. He learned the characteristic of the fiery roaring tiger. Intimidation. It is precisely because of this that Su Yuan unconsciously releases this characteristic when facing other Pokémon. If it is a performance in a previous game, it is to lower the first level attack level of Pokémon. But in this world, it not only has the function of reducing attacks, but if the target is a relatively weak Pokémon, Su Yuan can even scare them out of combat ability and flee directly. That's also why Su Yuan won't be recognized by Pokémon. How could a newborn Pokémon withstand the intimidation learned from the flame-roaring tiger? Moreover, not only did Su Yuan possess the characteristic of intimidation, but he also learned other skills of the flame-roaring tiger, such as high-handed surprise attack, loud roar, throwing harsh words, smashing down, DD golden hook arm, and so on. So much so that he doubted that he was not actually a human, but a humanoid Pokémon. Can I lay an egg with Xanadu, who also belongs to the humanoid group? Cough and cough. Unrealistic thoughts can only be imagined. At least Su Yuan still knows clearly that she belongs to humanity. He estimated that the reason why he was able to learn the moves and characteristics of Pokémon was closely related to that goddess. The reason is that I know, but it's not easy to restrain intimidation. Su Yuan has also tried many times, and it was only in recent days that she was able to barely restrain some of her intimidating aura. Dong dong dong, the sound of wings beating against the window sounded muffled, pulling Su Yuan's thoughts back. The delivery he ordered arrived, and the speed of delivery by the specialized Pokémon was much faster than in the previous life. While taking delivery, Su Yuan also intimidated Baijiao, who was in charge of delivering food. She sat at the computer desk and searched for a video of ordering food. Although he often appears in videos that are extremely disappointing due to his extremely unlucky luck, no one should be able to use his own videos to cook, right? Clicking on the dynamic list of Bilibili, Yuan suddenly noticed a live stream update from a special attention. Are you in a doubles battle? With these words, Yuan entered the live broadcast room. This anchor and Yuan once met in the master level ranking of Pokémon Battle. At that time, he didn't have a live broadcast, he just felt bored and wanted to come and watch a few shows. After playing with him, Yuan found this contestant quite interesting and enjoyed playing some flower work. Later, I accidentally found out that he was a broadcaster on Bilibili, so I paid special attention to him and got to know him. Yuan took out the barbecue and sandwiched the grilled meat into a pancake while watching the live broadcast. We are still in the stage of choosing the starting lineup and subsequent Pokémon, and the competition rules are still the traditional 64 rule. However, it is worth mentioning that this anchor is currently playing a newly launched Extreme and even Super Extreme mode that only appears in the Galar region. Due to the fact that maximization can only occur at specific energy points in Galar, the new mode of Pokémon Battle, that allows Pokémon to undergo maximization received unanimous praise from most players. Yuan has also used the lineup of the anchor several times, but it is not in the live broadcast. This lineup is composed of Duolong Baruto, self-destructing magnetic monsters, combo martial arts bear division, Pokés, Duball mushroom, and blazing roar tiger. In the extremely large mode, this lineup has excellent offensive ability, as well as joint defense and cover abilities. It is a typical lineup where the higher the first reading command ability, the higher the upper limit. On the other hand, there is the always popular Sunny and Sandstorm team. The Cold Turtle, which utilizes the characteristic of Sunshine, and the Bangilas, which has the characteristic of Sand Lifting, serve as weather controllers. Bulbasaur, Spitfire Dragon, and Head Gopher serve as the output hands and love to manage and cover such a lineup. The lineup has not been fully selected yet, and in the live broadcast room of this anchor, there are bullet comments pointing and pointing. On the other side of the classic clear sand system, are you going to fight them with your head? Looking at the ID on the other side, it seems like a big shot who plays with the weather system. I heard that he has been trying to explore a new lineup recently and is preparing to score. Listen to me, that's it. For these barrage comments, Yuan's evaluation is no evaluation. Picking up a tissue to wipe off the grease on her hands, Yuan tapped the keyboard. Router. This lineup can fight, it's quite easy. The lineup system of the Qingsha team can be popular in the extremely large mode, and the intensity is naturally self-evident. But it is precisely because this lineup is so popular at most players in the Master Ball level know its tricks to some extent. There are many solutions for the Qingsha team. Yuan's simple words stirred up a huge wave in the barrage of the live broadcast room. Sleeping slot. The routing teacher himself. Master Ball capture. The barrage flashed across the screen. Some people were surprised by the sudden appearance of the routing teacher, while others were lost in thought due to Yuan's previous message. Can we fight? Is it still easy? Don't deceive me just because of what I'm playing with. 1.5 minutes have passed. The lineup selection in the game, where the anchor chooses the starting lineup of Blazing Roar Tiger and Pokés. Glancing at his lineup, Yuan's mouth curved. This anchor is going to start causing trouble. The game begins. The starting lineup on the opposite side did not meet Yuan's expectations, and started with the Sunshine team's playing style centered around the Sunshine characteristics of the Cold Turtles. However, the output hand is not a Bulbasaur, but a Spitfire Dragon with stronger attack power under sunny conditions. Most likely, its characteristics are the power of the sun. Sure enough, I still don't want the dragon-headed mole to be scared by the roaring tiger power. Yuan took a bite of the thin and crispy pancake and muttered to herself. The intimidation feature can immediately reduce the opponent's Pokémon level attack power when appearing, which is an extremely troublesome feature for physical output hands. And the special attacker has no worries anymore. The reason why the opposing team chose Spitfire Dragon as their starting lineup is probably because they are afraid that under sunny conditions, Bulbasaur will be instantly killed by the blazing Roaring Tiger's flash charge. After all, the state of sunny weather can greatly enhance the power of fire-style moves. Even if the durability of Bulbasaur is excellent, it will definitely not be able to withstand the damage of a sunny flash charge. The Spitfire Dragon and the Cold Turtle are probably his best choices. However, he can also bet that this side won't be on the blazing Roaring Tiger, Yuan said casually. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Protection or Unprotection Protection. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Protection or Unprotection Protection. On the field of competition, both sides of Pokémon are waiting for orders from their trainers. The strong and scorching sun in the sky scorches the earth, and the momentum of the Spitfire Dragon continues to climb due to the influence of sunny weather and the power of the sun. Power of the sun. Under sunny weather, the special attack increases by 1.5 times, but loses 1/8 of the maximum HP per turn. The power of the fire attribute permeates the air, and the power of the blazing Roaring Tiger also becomes active, unwilling to be outdone, confronting the Flame Dragon across the air, and the battle is about to erupt. The intention on the opposite side is very obvious. He clearly wants to activate the Super Giant transformation and quickly reduce the opponent's staff as soon as he comes on stage, and trap the opposite Pokémon in the exclusive move of the Super Giant Flamethrowing Dragon. Super Giant Hell Extinguishing Flame. The barrage in the live broadcast room, even after Yuan expressed her opinion, was unanimously not optimistic. But it's also much better than the initial situation. Yuan stopped speaking up and settled down to eat. Shio. In the live broadcast room, two trainers simultaneously retrieved Pokémon, and the extremely large bracelet on their right wrist flickered with a red light. The power belonging to the infinite was transmitted to Pokémon through the Pokémon Ball. Bang! The Pokéball suddenly grew larger, and then two people simultaneously threw the Pokéball backwards. Roar! Without any accidents, the first to complete the ultimate transformation was the Spitfire Dragon. It's still a super giant form. The massive body, like a small mountain, landed on the field, carrying a large amount of sand and soil. The wings behind it were completely elemental, and the wings made of flames stirred the hot wind, looking down on everything with a cold and proud expression. And then, call! The supergiant flamethrower dragon, which had completely changed its posture, roared up into the sky. The flame wings behind it detached and merged into the flame god bird, flying towards the original position of Pocky's. Super Hell Anti-Inflammation. And at the moment when the Spitfire Dragon on the opposite side uses the move style. The Anchor's Pokémon here have also achieved tremendous growth. To everyone's surprise, the object of his immense transformation was Pocky's. Ding! As Super Hell's flame destruction was about to attack Pocky's body, a huge translucent defense wall suddenly blocked his body. The flame god bird collided with the semi-transparent protective cover and scattered away. This wave directly resolved the most powerful attack on the opposite side. The audience in the live broadcast room fell into chaos collectively. Can anyone tell me what exactly happened? I looked at Pocky's, but I didn't bring the hold skill, did I? Is this a bug that has occurred? Because the extremely large mode has only recently opened, it is impossible for audiences who did not pay attention to this mode to know. However, soon, some viewers who were aware of the situation took the initiative to explain, this is not a game bug, but a feature of the Mega Mode. If the Pokémon that accept the ultimate transformation carry their transformation moves, and after completing the ultimate transformation, their original transformation moves will all transform into ultimate defense walls. Only the skill of extremely defensive wall can fully resist the attack moves of Pokémon after the ultimate transformation. The move just now was extremely defensive, which should have been transformed from Pocky's, "Look at me." With this explanation, most of the audience also reacted. The barrage in the live broadcast room rolled rapidly again. "I'll go, it turns out to be extremely huge. Can we still play like this? I wasted one round of super giant transformation in vain, what a blood loss for the opponent. Look at me, my god forever." The battle continues. The blazing roar of the tiger emitted a huge roar, and the visible sonic shock wave broke through the air, attacking the supergiant Spitfire dragon and coal turtle. Routing. Eat me and roar loudly. Roar loudly. This is a very disgusting move, which not only deals a small amount of damage but also reduces the Pokémon level 1 special attack caused by the move. For these two opposing special attack output hands, it has a miraculous effect. Boom. Like a volcanic eruption, the coal turtle's back spewed out a large number of fireballs, falling towards the blazing roaring tiger and Pockies. "Didn't you learn how to pounce?" Yuan pondered and said. The intensity of the Spitfire in a sunny state is indeed high, but in the situation where there is a blazing roaring tiger on the opposite field, the optimal move should be a combat-style attack. Although Pounce is a physical move, its damage is calculated based on the physical defense of the Pokémon using this move. The thicker the face, the more painful it is to hit someone, that's the move. Extremely compatible with coal turtles with high physical defense race values. The coal turtle, whose special attack has been reduced, only deals a slight damage to the flame-roaring tiger with its Spitfire skill. It's not painful or itchy at all. Perhaps it's because I'm afraid that the Fire Spitfire dragon won't be able to kill Pockies, and I might want to use the Fire Spitfire blade to repair it. Yuan can only guess like this. Otherwise, the other party has no reason not to use Pounce. The spewing fire of the coal turtle was still blocked by the extremely strong defensive wall of Pockies. The battle has passed one turn. Due to the power of the characteristic sun, the Spitfire dragon lost 1/16 of its health. Note. After being maximized, the health of Pokémon doubled, but the health deducted due to the power of the sun did not double. Spitfire dragon, use super hell to extinguish inflammation. In the second round, the order from the opponent's trainer remained the same. The super giant hell extermination not only has damage, but also the sustained damage caused by its subsequent transformation into a sea of fire cannot be underestimated. Wave. This time, the damage of the Spitfire dragon directly hit Pockies. The Firebird collided with Pockies' body and then turned into a hellish sea of fire. Then the stamina of the Spitfire dragon decreased by another measure, which came from the effect of the Life Pearl. Life Pearl. The power of Pokémon's moves carrying this item increases by about 30%. But every time an opponent hits through an attack move, it will cause the user to lose up to 10% of their maximum HP. Due to the fact that the special attack has dropped by one level, and with the extremely massive stamina doubling, this supergiant hell extermination cannot cause any fatal damage to Pockies. Wave. Hard hit a supergiant move, and Pockies' eyes sparkled with anger. The storm vortex stirred by both wings hit the coal tortoise head. On, even if it was not a restraint effect, it still caused a considerable damage. Although coal turtles have extremely high physical defense race values, they are much inferior in special defense. This extremely powerful flying charge directly washed away 2/3 of its health. Hit the nail on the head. Pockies, feature. Super lucky, carrying item. Focus mirror. Super lucky. Increase the probability of hitting the key. The effect of the focus mirror is the same as the super lucky feature. And, the two can be stacked. The subsequent roaring tiger and coal turtle will still use the skills of loud roar and Spitfire. At this point in the battle, the balance of victory and defeat is already very clear. As long as the anchor can defeat the coal turtle in the next round, the combo martial arts bear master in the back row will be in existence that the opponent cannot handle. It's not that Master Wudao Xiong is afraid of cold turtles, he's afraid of the effects of sunny weather. The power of the water attribute move has decreased to 50% of its original level. The third round is the key to winning. Due to the speed increase of one level caused by the extremely fast charge, it means that in this round, Pockeys will surpass the Spitfire Dragon in speed. Absolute priority to take action. On the other side, we should be thinking about changing people for joint defense. Su Yuan's words have just finished. In the video of the live broadcast room, the other party without hesitation withdrew the cold turtle and replaced it, Bangilas. It has to be said that Bangilas is indeed capable of handling this skill. Changing the weather to a sandstorm, although it deprived the Spitfire Dragon of the blessings of sunny weather, it also prevented it from the embarrassing situation of losing health every turn but not being able to deal damage. Even if the Spitfire Dragon is affected by sandstorm weather, the damage it receives is still less than the self-health deduction of sun power per turn. The most important point. Whether it's the Blazing Roar Tiger or Pockeys, there are no skills to fight against Bangilas at this time. In sandstorm weather, rock-type Pokémon have a special defense 1.5 times bonus effect. Pockeys, it has no reason to use Mega Fairy. The opponent had a good idea, but it was of no use. I don't know if it's for the sake of survival, but the anchor is directing Pockeys and using the classic tactics of a routing teacher. Protect, not protect, protect. Su Yuan and the audience were both stunned. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. One side chooses to surrender. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. One side chooses to surrender. The sand and stones formed by the appearance of Bangilas walked randomly on the field. The Spitfire Dragon, without the blessing of a sunny day, roared with unwillingness. Under the orders of the trainer, the flames stirred up and finally unleashed his last highly aggressive move in this game from his mouth, extremely huge flying charge. Target, Flame Roaring Tiger. Bang! The tornado storm, mixed with gravel, fiercely smashed towards the blazing Roaring Tiger. Although this extremely powerful flying charge has 1.5 times the damage boost of its own series and 1.3 times the damage boost of the Life Jade, it has been reduced by 2 special attacks and is not an effective counter move, with almost no damage. Referring to a quarter. Hashtag %* at hashtag Yuan % at, the blazing Roaring Tiger, attacked by a fierce flying charge, seemed to have been humiliated and let out a meaningless roar towards Bangilas. It looks like a thug on the street putting down their harsh words after being beaten away. Drop the harsh words. Able to perform a level 1 attack and a level 1 special attack on the target, and immediately return to the trainer's side to replace it with another unused Pokémon. Bang! Replacing Roaring Tiger on stage is Martial Arts Bear Master. The sandstorm weather is also unfavorable for him, but now that both sides have ended their extreme competition, he has enough pressure to take over the entire game. Show! Both the Spitfire Dragons and Pockeys on both sides have returned to their original size, and the sandstorm has hit, causing the other 3 Pokémon, except for Bangilas, to lose a small amount of energy due to the sandstorm. The output of the Spitfire Dragon can be ignored. Bangilas was also suppressed to death by the Martial Bear Master. Even though Bangiras has excellent dual resistance race values, when facing attacks from the Martial Bear Master, the continuous and flowing attacks are enough to scatter its entire body. The power of continuous water flow or close combat can knock it down with just one move. I won. Su Yuan finished the last bite of the pancake, and as he watched the anchor's operation, he already knew that he had won. Shoo! The Pokémon ball emits 3 rays of light simultaneously, bringing the 3 Pokémon back into the ball, then Cold Turtle. Bulbasaur. Blazing Roaring Tiger. The sandstorm has turned sunny again. The sunshine has become stronger. The opponent decisively chose to put away the 2 Pokémon present and instead replaced them with the Cold Turtle, whose health was already a candle in the wind, and his last Pokémon. Bulbasaur. This is another game. Bangilas and the Spitfire Dragon are clearly not opponents of the martial arts Bear Master, but he also has the means to counter the martial arts Bear Master. The health of the Cold Turtle is already like a candle in the wind, but its Sunshine characteristic can help another Pokémon in the team regain initiative and first mover advantage. According to his plan, if the opponent could kill the Cold Turtle, it would actually be the best outcome. Because of this, he can naturally replace it with the Spitfire Dragon. At that time, the main output hands of the two major Sunny teams will come out together. It's not impossible for the Jedi to turn the tables. As for Pocky's, with its strength. Can you take a hot breeze to make my wonderful frog flower for a second? Then I surrender on the spot. Unfortunately, I read yours first here. At the moment when I saw the roaring tiger on the other side, my expression must have been very exciting. Yuan thought with some ill intentions. The comeback of the flame-roaring tiger can be said to be a stroke of genius. Your sunny day is my sunny day. The opposite side wanted to use the characteristics of Bulbasaur to regain the initiative in the clear sky, but unfortunately, Bulbasaur was restrained by the flame-roaring tiger. The water flows continuously. The only martial arts Bear Master on the field who could launch an attack launched his flowing attack on the Cold Turtle, sometimes turbulent and sometimes gentle, continuous, like an extreme waterfall and like a continuous drizzle. Every move is aimed at the opponent's vital points and hit them. Excellent effect. Hit the nail on the head. Wudao Xiongshi unexpectedly took away the Cold Turtle, marking the end of this round. The opponent's player sat in front of the screen, with a gloomy expression on his face. His Bulbasaur was confident that he could catch the hot wind of Pocky's on a sunny day, but he also knew that his Bulbasaur could never catch the blazing roar of the tiger's flashing charge. Even if it's not sunny. But he can't switch to Gilas either. Once the weather turns into a sandstorm, it means it will be difficult for his Bulbasaur to regain control. Is it protected? Perhaps protection can indeed drag on a round. But there are two other Pokémon on the opposite side that can be used for joint defense. No matter what Pokémon the Wudao Xiongshi is replaced with on the opposite side, as long as the protection of Bulbasaur is past, the only thing waiting for it is exhaustion and collapse. But here, except for Bangilas who cannot play again, there is no one who can effectively restrain the flame-roaring tiger. Is it double protection? That's not very realistic. If it's a router on the other side, you can take a gamble, but unfortunately, you can't change your opponent. Now he can only gamble on the props brought by the martial arts Bear Master on the opposite side. He has locked his skills and cannot use protective skills. The backhand threw the Pokémon ball and the Spitfire Dragon returned to the field. The script was similar to what he had imagined, except for a slight accident. See through. The skills that belong to the same category as protection shattered his last bit of fantasy. The grass-based attacks from the Bulbasaur flower were perfectly blocked by the martial arts Bear Master who displayed his ability to see through. The air slash of the Spitfire Dragon hit the flame-roaring tiger, causing considerable damage. With the addition of the original flying moves of the Life Jade on a sunny day, the health of the roaring tiger was directly suppressed to red health. However, there is no fear. The body of the blazing roaring tiger was enveloped in flames, with an unstoppable momentum and determination, burning all its strength and unleashing a blazing charge towards the Bulbasaur. Excellent effect. Meowhua's stamina dropped directly from full health to 0, while the flame-roaring tiger also collapsed due to the reaction force brought by the flash flame charge. But it was precisely because of the fiery roar of the tiger's strike that the victory was directly established. Bangilas came on stage, and the sunny day turned back into a sandstorm. The unfavorable weather conditions for Master Wudao Xiong have disappeared. Not to mention that he has two other Pokémon left, even if there is only one, it can still penetrate. Wave. The replacement for the roaring tiger is the adorable Poké Plane, which has always been covered in white. In melee combat with a single-point bungaras, Pakis chose the most obscene and tedious skill, look at my mom. Until now, this anchor has actually stabilized. This is not the optimal game, but a stable and winning game. Then the system suddenly pops up a prompt, one side chose to surrender. At this point, the competition has come to an end. It has to be said that this game was quite exciting, although the whole game seemed to be one's own side pressing against the opponent. But if you take one wrong step, the outcome may be completely reversed. The charm of Pokémon battles lies in not knowing the outcome until the very last moment. Although this move did not end in the end, Yuan believed that the other party had also shown 100% strength in the process. Surrender sometimes does not mean incompetence. It represents recognition, which is both an affirmation of the opponent's strength and a reflection on one's own shortcomings. Compared to surrendering, Yuan hates the worst quality unplugging cables. Even if the game is still judged as a victory for oneself, unplugging the internet cable is more like being frustrated when unable to afford to lose than admitting one's shortcomings openly. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Pseudomantis grass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Pseudomantis grass. The next day. At this moment, Yuan looked conflicted and couldn't help but feel some regret in her heart. There is still about an hour left until the agreed time of 9 o'clock, and it will take at least half an hour to arrive at the station from here. In terms of time, it should be said to be very spacious. But the problem lies here. In front of Yuan now, there is a huge rock snake staring at him, occasionally emitting a deep roar from its mouth. The Great Rock Snake Pokémon, is a type of Pokémon with a very gentle temperament. Originally, it should be like this. But judging from its current appearance, Yuan did not associate it with gentleness. Roar, the sound in the mouth of the Great Rock Snake became increasingly low, and its thick tail rubbed against the ground recklessly, marking its entry into a state of readiness for battle. Yuan looked at the fierce gleam in the eyes of the big rock snake, and her mood became even more depressed. As agreed, he woke up early in the morning, washed himself up, and then set off for the station. Then, Yuan met a peculiar-looking Pokémon on the road. This Pokémon Yuan also knows it, belonging to the sickle grass Pokémon, pseudo-praying mantis grass. Just different from the typical pink-green Pseudomantis, this Pseudomantis has a yellow-green face and body, and the stripes between its bodies and the color of its eyes are not the original red, but emerald green. Colorful Pokémon. Also known as colorful Pokémon or flash Pokémon. Just a glance, Yuan felt like she had already fallen in love with it. After all, the appearance of the pseudo-praying mantis is truly cute, and its evolved orchid-praying mantis flower can rival the wife Pokémon such as Miss Skirt and Xanadu. Unlike Poké Kiss and Geely eggs, which appear cute on the surface, they are actually more and more dirty and fake cute. The most important thing is that Yuan saw the hope of having the initial Pokémon. He was rejected by Pokémon precisely because of his intimidating nature. But you should know that the pseudo-praying mantis has a hidden characteristic. Singing the opposite tune. The Pokémon with this characteristic are subject to a change in their ability class, which becomes the original reverse change. Rising becomes falling, falling becomes rising. Simply put, a Pokémon with this type of feature is not afraid of intimidation, and it doesn't seem to be competitive or unwilling to give up, wanting to fight you when triggered. The more you intimidate it, the more it may want to get close to you. With this idea in mind, Yuan came into contact with the Pseudomantis grass. Then after taking a glance at Yuan, the Pseudomantis grass bounced and ran away. However, what excites Yuan is that he did not feel the same panic, fear, and other emotions on the pseudo-praying mantis as on other Pokémon. Although the fake mantis grass ran away, it gave Yuan a feeling of wanting to play games with him more. This kind of emotion was only felt by Su Yuan when she was still living in the Shinao region and by the fire-spotted Miao who had not yet evolved. So Su Yuan followed closely behind the Pseudomantis grass and came to the forest outside the city. Then, not only did he lose the fake praying mantis, but he also had extremely bad luck when he encountered the big rock snake and threatened it. Big rock snake. What are you worried about? Can you give me another try? Big rock snake. Oh, how dare you threaten me? Inexplicably provoked by someone, this big rock snake can't bear it, and in addition, its personality is quite irritable. Afterwards, there was the one just released. Su Yuan. It's too difficult for me. The atmosphere of one person, one snake became even more tense, and Su Yuan was not afraid of this big rock snake. On the surface, the appearance of the big rock snake was indeed very oppressive, but unfortunately it was weak in combat. Although Su Yuan is a human, he has truly mastered the skills and moves of the flame-roaring tiger, including the brute force move belonging to the fighting genre. This is also one of his confidence in daring to come to the forest outside the city alone. Moreover, the Alliance rules prohibit the hunting and consumption of wild Pokémon, but it is still allowed for battles or self-protection that do not harm lives. The concepts of inability to fight, exhaustion, and death are too different. However, even if Su Yuan could use the brute force move, he had no experience using this move on Pokémon, and the great rock snake looked very hard. Who knows if his brute force would cause the great rock snake to collapse first, or if his own arm would shatter and fracture first. The constitutions of humans and Pokémon cannot be generalized. If there is a choice, Su Yuan still doesn't want to be like this tough rock snake. Jiwu. Just as Su Yuan was facing off against the great rock snake, the strange-colored false mantis grass suddenly jumped up and ran to Su Yuan's face, using its emerald green leaves that resembled a sickle to impale Su Yuan's calf in dissatisfaction. It looks like you're saying, "Why did you suddenly stop playing with me?" Roar. It was precisely because of the sudden addition of the fake praying mantis that the big rock snake suddenly became violent. The thick rock tail shattered the large rocks next to it, hoping to use its tail to shoot these rock fragments towards Su Yuan and the fake praying mantis. The sudden eruption of the big rock snake was not slow, but Su Yuan's speed was even faster. The big rock snake had just broken the rock and had not had time to take the next action when it was knocked unconscious by Su Yuan's jump and slap. High five surprise attack. A preemptive skill that can make the attacked Pokémon shrink for one turn. Hiss. With a slap on the body of the great rock snake, Su Yuan's face also changed. It hurts, it hurts. The pain caused by the reaction force of hitting the rough rock surface with a full slap can be imagined. Fortunately, I didn't use brute force just now. Taking a few breaths of cold air, Su Yuan's right hand trembled slightly and said, "It's really hard." With a single blow, Su Yuan didn't turn his head and picked up the fake praying mantis behind him with his left hand. The average size of the fake praying mantis is 30 centimeters, 1.5 kilograms, holding it in his arms and quickly escaping from the great rock snake. Although the instructions in the game allow Pokémon to recoil for one turn, who knows how long this turn actually lasts in reality. As long as I can't use my moves, there will never be another round. Isn't this nonsense? If we can't fight, then we can only run away, right? As for the fake mantis grass, Su Yuan is not a humanoid Pokémon guidebook. Even if he has rich combat experience, he cannot command the wild Pokémon he just encountered from the beginning. Not to mention commanding, whether it listens to itself or not is a question. Bringing the fake praying mantis with him is purely because he has not given up on the idea of subduing the fake praying mantis. Roar. The angry roar of the great rock snake echoed from behind. If the previous great rock snake had only been in a state of imminent combat, then the current great rock snake would have been in a state of madness. Whoosh! A stone the size of a basketball was hit by a large rock snake, and Su Yuan's body instinctively rolled to the right, narrowly avoiding the blow. If this is confirmed, Su Yuan may have to report to the goddess. Pa Ji. Due to Su Yuan's hasty and non-standard rolling, not only did he look disheveled himself, but he also ate a dog gnawing on mud with the fake praying mantis in his arms. The pseudo-praying mantis climbed up from the ground with a confused expression, tilted its head to look at Su Yuan's face covered in mud, and then at the large rock snake continuing to shoot rocks towards it. The fake praying grass pouted its face, its small body blocking Su Yuan's front, and it was a bit angry. One after another. The pseudo-mantis grass gathers its internal strength, and a large number of leaves surrounded by white light hover over the pseudo-mantis grass, forming a small tornado-like storm that shoots towards the rocks that are crashing towards it. This is. Su Yuan was a bit confused. Judging from the move exhibited by the fake praying mantis grass, this move was clearly the same skill as the meteor swarm exclusive to the dragon, which can be said to be a grass-based special attack move. Flying Leaf Storm. But you're just a fake praying mantis. Where did you learn about the Flying Leaf Storm? P.S. Pseudo-praying mantis can really learn Flying Leaf Storm through skill learning machines. Also, I just changed the title and introduction of the book today, and I estimate it will be reviewed within 2 days. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. Gulado's 100,000 lives cannot be taken. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Gulado's 100,000 lives cannot be taken. The flying leaf storm collided with the flying rocks, creating a large amount of white mist. The seemingly tender leaves easily pierced through the rocks without slowing down, continuing to attack the great rock snake. If this strike is hit, as a ground type and rock type, the big rock snake, which is 4 times weaker than grass, may not be able to take it even if it is given 100,000 lives. Perhaps the special attack race value of the pseudo-mantis grass is not high, but similarly, the special defense of the great rock snake is also not high. A big rock snake, what does it use to top a flying leaf storm? However, reality is not a game after all. The opponent cannot stand in place and wait for the attack to arrive, and Pokémon is not proficient in using moves as soon as they learn them. For example, now, the flying leaf storm exhibited by the pseudo-praying mantis grass looks very unfamiliar. Although it pierced through the rocks, its subsequent attacks against the giant rock snake were somewhat inadequate. Before it could reach the great rock snake, it automatically dispersed. Flying Leaf Storm is at least one of the most powerful moves in the grass system, and calling it a ultimate move is not an exaggeration. Not to mention being inexperienced in controlling it, Su Yuan was surprised that the fake praying mantis grass could use this move alone. In reality, Pokémon battles are not turn-based. Be careful up there. Suddenly, Su Yuan shouted out loud, taking advantage of the gap between the fake praying grass and the rocks just now, he adjusted his body balance and stood up. Gyo. The pseudo-praying grass looked bewildered and instinctively raised its head to look above. That's exactly after the flyleaf storm dissipated, using his body to pat the ground and make himself soar, unleashing the pouncing great rock snake. Fighting in grass are not weak or resistant, but it should be noted that the physical defense of the great rock snake is as high as 160 points. This attack undoubtedly poses a great threat to the false praying grass, even if it is a near-death blow. Quickly dodge. Su Yuan shouted anxiously, although his Pokémon had rich experience in battles, he couldn't blindly follow Jill's commands without knowing that the pseudo-mantis grass had already learned its moves. This distance is too late to use Flyleaf Storm. So he could only silently pray that the pseudo-praying mantis could dodge this move. Jojo. To Su Yuan's surprise, this little guy seemed to have never thought of running from the beginning. He saw the sickle leaves of the fake praying grass continuously waving and chopping in front of him, several leaves flashing with a cold light from bottom to top, and each leaf was as sharp as a knife. It's the flying leaf blade. The flying leaf blade of the false praying grass is clearly different from her flying leaf storm, appearing quite skilled. This time, she hit the big rock snake head on. Excellent effect. However, there is not much egg use. The face of the big rock snake, hit by the flying leaf blade, showed a slight expression of pain, but its body still fell towards the false praying grass. Ghost face. There is no possibility of avoiding this distance anymore, and the speed of the fake praying mantis is swaying there. But Su Yuan is not a mascot either. In the past, Xiao Ji could face up to 100,000 volts, but now it's not a problem for me, Su Yuan, to scare away the great rock snake with a ghostly face. The power of the evil faction surged out of Su Yuan's body and condensed into a huge ghost face behind him. The terrifying expression of the ghost face glared fiercely at the great rock snake, occasionally making trembling sounds. Su Yuan is very familiar with the ghost face technique. In the past, Hot Meow used this technique to run out with him to play pranks. Naturally, this technique was also Su Yuan's earliest mastered skill. Although he didn't know where the evil energy came from, it didn't affect his ability to use this move in the slightest. Suddenly, there was a feeling of being stared at by a cold gaze. The big rock snake lifted its bulky rock head and shifted its gaze from the pseudo-praying mantis to Su Yuan. Then he was caught off guard and trembled with fear from the terrifying ghost behind Su Yuan. The effect of the transformation style is much higher than what it actually describes. Ghost face. Staring at the opponent with a terrifying face, causing them to fear and significantly reducing their movement speed. But since the other party is afraid, it represents an opportunity. The great rock snake's unstoppable attack suddenly stopped, not only slowing down, but also due to fear of distraction, his attack missed the mark. Good opportunity, Pseudomantis grass continues to use the flying leaf blade. Su Yuan seized this fleeting opportunity and shouted at the fake praying mantis. He is not greedy for the damage of Fey Storm. This move is too unstable. Not to mention that he can only barely use it now, even after becoming proficient, Fey Storm's hit rate is still unsatisfactory. Compared to Fey Storm, which has a fast casting speed, stable hit rate, and a high probability of hitting key targets, Su Yuan prefers Fey Blade. Even though, the strength of this flying leaf blade was not enough to knock down the great rock snake with just 2 strikes. Jio. Although this could only be a pseudo-praying mantis with a characteristic of singing a different tune, fortunately she has not sung a different tune with Su Yuan now. Whoosh, the flying blade cut through the air and shot into the dust that had risen due to the fall of the great rock snake. Roar. Very effective. The great rock snake was finally knocked out this time, and even if his defense was high, he couldn't eat 2 consecutive flying leaf blades. After all, 4 times weaker grass. Before Su Yuan could be happy, she felt a hint of unease in her heart. On the dust that had not yet dissipated, a black spherical shadow suddenly appeared, which was clearly a huge rock block in size. Rock avalanche. In an instant, Su Yuan understood what it was. Fei Yi Kuai Dao. Su Yuan does not believe that the flying leaf blade has this strength. If it is the flying leaf blade of the orchid mantis flower, it is easy to say. The flying leaf blade of the false mantis grass is widely used and cannot be stopped. However, there's still enough time for this distance. Su Yuan's mouth curved slightly, and he shouted with the front finger of his arm, "Pseudo-praying grass, use flying leaf storm." As soon as the words fell, a large number of leaves formed a tornado in front of the pseudo-mantis grass, but this time the flying leaf storm formed faster and the scale of the tornado was also larger. Seeing this, the curvature of Su Yuan's mouth became even greater. He can already confirm that the characteristics of this fake praying mantis grass are definitely opposite. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible for it to use a flyleaf storm of this scale. Although the power of flyleaf storm is very powerful, it also has fatal drawbacks. After using flyleaf storm again, the user's special attack will temporarily decrease by 50% due to that counter effect. And now that the fake praying mantis grass can unleash a stronger flying leaf storm than the first time, it indicates that her special attack level has been strengthened. By utilizing the characteristic of singing a counterpoint, the ability that should have been reduced is actually strengthened. Bang! The flying leaf storm directly penetrated the rock avalanche, like passing through tofu without any obstacles. However, it is still a pity that this strike did not hit the great rock snake. It's not in that position at all, so there's no such thing as a missed chance. Then, not far from the location where the great rock snake was said to be, an angry roar came over. It must be said that the wild great rock snake's attack method is very simple and rough. Taking advantage of its own physical advantages, either by colliding or flying, the great rock snake is now rushing towards this place with a fierce momentum. It looks like it's definitely not a silly move like hitting, but rather a sense of sacrificing oneself and colliding inside. But Su Yuan is not afraid here either. Since your distance has widened, what other reason do I have to persuade you? The special attack has increased by 200% in the flying leaf storm, not to mention your great rock snake, but even Gulado cannot take it. It can't withstand even 100,000 lives. Seeking collections and recommendations, end of this chapter. Chapter 9. I want to be with you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 10. Tomorrow is the second shift, and there was a problem today. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Tomorrow is the second shift, and there was a problem today in the morning. While playing Sword and Shield, I was lucky enough to be ranked as an AG teacher who secretly scored points offline. Originally, I had a high probability of winning, but I forgot that AG teacher's Bulbasaur flower comes with hypnotic powder. AG teacher. I never sleep. The cold turtle yawns and the wonderful frog flower hypnotic powder. AG teacher. This is not a person who doesn't sleep. Then I basically collapsed here. Although he was beaten, Jill was still happy as a thief. So in the next few matches, the whole person was floating. This led to my Sword and Shield ranking, going from 500 at the master level to directly diving backwards to 1000 at the 1W7000 level, and I don't even know what I'm going to play anymore. 13 or 14, 15 consecutive losses. Later on, I was planning to switch teams, and it wasn't until just now that I had set up the team. By the way, I played a few tricks and pulled the ranking to around 5k. Finally, it was time to look. 1W7 is really embarrassing. I am currently watching the AG teacher's live broadcast and probably not in the mood to write a novel. So why not leave it for tomorrow to make up for it together, *******, end of this chapter.